Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is I'm sorry, I'm Audrey Lane, one of the co-directors of the PopCon International Film Festival. And we are having a filmmaker Q&A with the block that just ended or is ending as we speak, the Sci-Fi block. We have Mark Borison, which is representing Subject 6 Alpha 2. I always mess that up.
I regret naming it that way almost immediately.
You know, and to be truthful, I have a lisp, so it's really hard for me to get all those S's in there. So, and then we have Demetrius Witherspoon with the Submerge series, and Brandon with one of my favorite films, just because it was so out there and just so totally original. Split Ends, the final cut.
Well, thank you.
Welcome, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Glad to be here.
So thank you all for being here. Brandon, you represent New Jersey. Mark is Ohio, and Demetrius is right here with us in Indianapolis.
Ooh.
That's awesome.
Hi, Mom.
I hope she's watching, and I hope she throws some questions at you.
Yes.
So let's start with you, Mark. You headed
Sure.
off this hour. Tell us a little bit about what went into the initiation of this particular type of sci-fi. There was a lot of good things going on in here. It's more of a thriller sci-fi. Tell us how the inception of that happened.
Well, we got pretty lucky. I was on a road trip and someone referred me to a podcast, and I'm listening to this episode and I was like, I love this little story. So it was a really short story. I reached out to the creator of the podcast, and at the time I was watching a lot of Black Mirror, and in general I like kind of weird sci-fi, like sci-fi that's just kind of on the fringe, and I don't want to adhere too much to genre. But the risk of sounding like a total goon. I love the story, so I reached out to the original author. I was like, "Hey, I want to do an adaptation of this. Are you cool with that?" And yeah, they were really awesome about it. Like the show itself was really accepting. And it was that funny thing where I was like, "Oh, they're kind of a big show. Am I going to get sued?" But they were really cool. They were like, "Hey, here's our sound effects. Here's all of our music." And I'm like halfway through making it, like, I already hired a guy to do the score. But it was awesome. For me, I've done comedy almost my whole life, and so this was definitely a challenge project for me, where I wanted to step outside of my comfort zone and kind of prove to myself that I could both act in a dramatic role as well as handle this kind of content. I just wanted to prove that I had like a wide berth of skills. I think I already knew, but now I have a portfolio to shove in people's faces.
That's right. Look at this.
Exactly. And Brandon, what about you? Your film was just, I don't know, it was just something about it. It was so different. And I love sci-fi. I mean, I love horror and I love sci-fi. So those are the things that I love melded together. But your short, was it very personal? Was this kind of an adaptation of something that really was going on with you?
Oh, it's like a million things, a million ideas I had going into this. Originally, it was supposed to. I had my hair was getting very long, like very long. It had been like over a year, and everyone was telling me to cut my hair. So I've been making short films with my friends for a while. So I thought, oh, why don't I work this in? Like I can start filming a movie and then get my hair cut and continue filming that same movie. And it was supposed to take a month, and it ended up taking like 5 or 6 months of just weekends and stuff. But yeah, it was very, very personal. Absolutely. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied.
Hey, I don't know about you. It's been a long day. This is very overwhelming to an extent. You have a lot of interaction. You're seeing all these films, but you're trying to do, all this stuff. It is a very, it's a balancing act.
It is.
It is.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It is.
we are dragging over here. We're trying to put thoughts together.
Yeah,
It's been a long day.
Yeah,
Up since 5 a.m.
Oof. Hey,
yeah, me too.
hey, Brandon, I like it had like this 80s feel to it, but also I like the movie Hot Rod.
Yeah, Andy Samberg.
He's like, you're a hacker, when he's doing that
Oh,
line,
yeah.
and I was just like, I like those kind of movies, so yeah.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I took heavy inspiration from that and Kung Fury. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yeah.
That had like one of those hackers.
I love that.
Awesome.
I love it. And Demetrius, you have built this whole little universe, and one of the reasons that we wanted to go back and do the Submerge series, the season, is because we just felt it wouldn't have made a lot of sense for people that may not have been familiar. And since this is an international film fest and you've got peers from all over the, different states and the world, we wanted to like kind of introduce them into that. How did Submerge come about?
Well, there was a lady that was panhandling, and she was asking for money and things, and I would try to help whenever I could, but I was like, man, what it took for her to be in that situation, and what if she got thrown into a situation where she come out stronger on the other side, not just physically, but emotionally, to deal with what she's got going on. And so that started the Submerge series. Like, well, what if she gets thrown into a multi-universe and has to find her way out and find her child? And so we started that spot where we had Nairi standing with all the traffic going. That's the same spot that the homeless lady would stand. And so I thought it was appropriate that we started there, and it just kind of went on from there.
And I know that area, it's, as soon as you see that strip of road, if you live in this city and you've been anywhere in the immediate city, that road. So that's actually pretty cool. Mark, what was doing the adaptation and trying to make it your own? What was there anything that was challenging for you to, still try to use that foundation, but make it your own as well?
Well, it was one of those things where as soon as I first heard the story, I was like, I wish I'd written this. And so in the, due to the nature of different mediums, I feel like little things change, right? It's all like kind of, I referred to it the whole time while we were making it as quality of life improvements. And the big thing for me is me and my co-writer, Alex Kogan, he and I are big dialogue guys. So we liked the original dialogue, but we pretty much gutted all of it. So I would say that, like, while the intent of the scenes are still as they were in the original, my goal was just to go in there. I was like, how do I put my own sense of flavor in this? You know what I mean? Add a little of my Mark Borison seasoning to the pile. And it was challenging to do that because I wanted to respect the original material, especially since they were so kind and just really giving to us, right? I'm at this point a nobody. So I'm just like, oh, what a nice group of people that are willing to let me potentially ruin their product. But no, all kidding aside, I really loved it. So for me, I hate to say, like, it wasn't a challenge, but I love writing and I love doing dialogue. And I feel like Kogan enjoyed doing that as well. And we just went through like, take it out. We'll do it our way. And that way we can fail as ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good thing about writing too, is, you think the direction of this story and where it's going, and it kind of flipped it on its head. And it is very much a ode to like an Outer Limits or like the Black Mirror episodes, but yet it still felt fresh. I mean, we have seen different incantations of something maybe similar, but it had its own feel, and it didn't feel old. It didn't feel tired. It felt very fresh and unique. And there was a lot of comedic, as serious as it was, there was a lot of comedic moments in that. And I'm just like, you think about people that that are married or boyfriend and girlfriend, and you're like, that is totally John and Lisa right there. Totally.
Oh, for sure. And I kept thinking the whole time, we were both just like, we need to make like this all, it's almost like a play, right? Because we're pretty much in one location the entire time. It's really just Allison and I carrying the whole movie. And, Sharon Ford that plays the negotiator Ramsey, she was wonderful too, but she was all like shot pretty much separately on the last day. And so it was that thing where I was like, if this relationship doesn't work between the main two characters, nobody's going to buy this. And it has to be a real, especially for the way the end goes. And I guess I'll save that for spoiler purposes, but for anybody that hasn't watched or wants to watch in the future. But I remember thinking at that point, I was like, the only way the end works is if you believe that the two of us are in an unhappy marriage, right? And that you believe the relationship, and we've all been in one, so we know what it sounds like. And I just remember the first pass, we were like, yeah, this isn't like biting enough. And I kept thinking that was like our number one thing. I was like, we kind of have to be mean to each other because, you know, we're in this rough place.
Wasn't there, so you
right.
For sure. And if I had only waited like another, I don't know, 6 months, I could have actually had quarantine knowledge too of what it would be like to be stuck in a building with someone. But this is what I get. So.
Wow.
Look, ideas are born. Ideas are born.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's you know, that's what I found when I was writing. You just never know where it can take you. And my first film, it was going to be longer, but I had problems with my cast and everything starting out. Who doesn't have something that goes wrong with cast sometimes? But so I was like, okay, I'm just going to cut it there, and I'm going to do a part 2. So it wasn't until almost a year later that by that time we had close to 30 people on set. And then that's when Bishop Stevens, the big guy that played Lord Raz, he was a former WWE wrestler, and he drove from St. Louis to here to film with us. And I was like, you understand it's an independent film, right? You know, he's like, no, I want to be part of this. And so, yeah, you can ask him. I do a good impersonation of his voice. But anyway, sorry about that, Bishop. So yeah, and so with movie career, he was moving up. So he was on Empire for season 1 on Fox, and now he's in movies with Nicolas Cage on Netflix and stuff. So so that gave me, just because things happen, that doesn't mean things are over. So that gave me the chance to start to grow.
That's the beauty of independent film. I mean, that it really is. Brandon, you said that you've been making movies with your friends for a while. Was this one of the more concentrated efforts where it was like a full shoot and you had, you know, everything you needed? How was this one different than the other ones you'd made before?
Well, this is the first one I had when I had a full-time job that I've made. So it's been, I've had to plan. Like,
yeah.
I've had to plan. You used to be able to just meet here and figure out something. So I had a basic framework, and we knew generally, oh, we can do it on this day if it's sunny out, or we could do this if it's raining. But definitely my most concentrated effort, which is kind of funny to say because it's like all over the place, but it is very much my vision. So
that's good. That's good. Yeah. A lot of people ask.
Very nice. Okay. There's a question here.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, but there's a question. I'm asking Ryan, who was it directed to? So I'm gonna pop back in as soon as he lets us know, because I wasn't sure if it was for all of you or one of you. So I'm just gonna clarify.
Okay.
But go ahead, Demetrius. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just funny how, you know, you start to write things and where it can lead. And so after that third film, I thought I was pretty much done. But then we really started to work together with all the independent filmmakers and makeup artists in Indianapolis. And it was like, okay, we want to make the best sci-fi we can. And that's when we did Echo 51. Which we went further into that universe and, you know, dealing with aliens and things like that, and start to build that world even more. So it leads into the next other film. So I planned out for a few more films. And so the what shows tomorrow, Blue Star, is the 5th film in the Submerge series. So it'll be that complete season on Amazon Prime.
It's awesome.
Awesome. So there is there's a comment from Chris that says, Mark, Brandon, and Demetrius, thanks for sharing your films this weekend. We wish we could have seen it in person and interact with you. What are your next projects? Hey, Chris, you don't get to take one of my questions. I'm just joking.
Darn it.
So let's go counterclockwise. Let's start with you, Brandon, and we'll go to Demetrius and then Mark. Brandon, what is up for you? What's next for you?
Oh, pretty much as soon as I finish this, that's when the quarantine hit. So really, I've got no idea what my next project will be. But once it's over,
have you been writing? Have you been just?
I've been doing a lot of video editing. I do this foundation called Catch a Fire, where you can help nonprofits edit like videos for their social media, their websites. So nothing creatively I've done other than just outsourcing editing.
Well, no, that sounds like it's amazing. If you can make sure that you drop that link in the comments for everyone. Everyone likes to get involved with things in different ways, and I think that's a great cause, because you know what, I would call for that, because I cannot do editing. I can't. It drives me nuts. Any kind of video that needs to be edited, I have to hand it off to someone, because it's just a source of major anxiety for me. Like it's terrible. So I would be one of those people looking out for some help. Demetrius, how about you? What do you got going on?
Well, like we said, Submerge Blue Star shows tomorrow, which continues the journey of Nari and her daughter, and really start to go into the Submerge, the Craig Empire, and show more of them. So we're gonna, like my son said, we're gonna do the Snyder cut on that one, and we're gonna do a Snyder cut on that one. And in the meantime, we have a 180 card game based off of Echo 51, which we're actually got an Indiegogo going for that right now, Submerge Echo 51. And so still writing for future comic books also. So this is our latest one, Submerge 51X. See that? Yeah.
Oh,
and
nice.
So we got 2 comics and more coming on its way. So yeah,
you might have to find a way to make that card game virtual until we can, people can get together and play. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's just, we got to find somebody to help us do that. I'm so packed out with everything. Yeah.
That's the wonderful world about networking.
Yeah.
And what about you, Mark? What do you have going on?
Too much going on. That's always the answer. So by day, I'm a host for a YouTube series for a technology company based out of our area, one of Google's partner companies. So that's been keeping me mostly busy. But I shot a short actually about a month ago that I'm slowly but surely editing. Just a quick little comedy called What's Going On. And it is about an overzealous neighborhood watch person who goes on a tear over the new light bulbs provided by his HOA. All the funny stuff I like to do is really absurd. Nice. I've got that. I've got a couple of the scripts I'm sitting on. The other one I'm really excited about is another more serious take about, for lack of a better descriptor, death and a thrift shop. But I'm really excited to tackle that one too. So I've just been trying to, I don't know, I definitely have this weird mentality of if I'm not doing something, I'm failing myself. So I have tried to take as much time as possible to just like fill it with everything,
Right.
Well, that's kind of the nice thing with the quarantine. It has given, I think, everybody some time to reflect. Sometimes we are too busy and we don't slow down and take advantage of the things that, kind of make you happy, but it may not be very, in some people's eyes, so much rewarding and at the top echelon of what they're doing, but it's still important to kind of just sit back and chill sometimes. Get back in touch with things. But I think I'm like you, if I'm not doing a lot, and it doesn't matter what it is, I get stir crazy and anxious, and then I think of all the things that are going on outside of my control. But honestly, having the film fest has kind of been a saving grace. It's been something to keep us focused on, and our goal is always to make the experiences as good as we can for the filmmaker. The great thing is not only are people getting you guys and all of your films, they're getting panels, they're getting a full, best possible convention they can get that's not in person. So I'm excited about that for you guys. So you're not only interacting with each other, but you're getting to see all the other great things that PopCon has to offer. So hopefully in between that, you'll be able to catch some panels and look at the events and grab something that, you really migrate to.
Yeah.
It's been a cool event. I didn't know what to expect really going virtual. So this is like my first virtual event. I've got another film fest called Deep in the Heart Festival in Texas that I just got an email today saying they're going virtual as well. So we'll be running that there. So it's kind of nice. I didn't know what to expect. I was I was obviously looking forward to the in-person event, but I think you all did a really great job of putting this together. And like, I don't know, I've just been.
That is all Chris and Carl they are just geniuses, and the speed that they did this. I was even finding new things. I'm like, oh, I forgot about the podcast.
I know that guy.
There he is. I was just like, oh, I forgot about the podcast, the podcast marathon. How did I forget about that? Because I love podcasts. There's just so much. Even I had to go back through and look at the events and like, oh man, that's right. They're doing that. Oh man, they're doing this. So it really, does kind of make you divide your time. But I just want to say, be here for each other, support each other. We know that people work and have other things going on. But if you can log on and catch some things.
Most definitely.
Just because this is a networking experience for you guys. I mean, who was saying that you look like John Belushi, and there's an Animal House, remake coming up. And I'm like, Brandon does a lot like that. We literally said that when we watched it the first time. I'm like, who does he remind me of?
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
I personally don't see it, but
you really? I mean, you're not a dead ringer, but I'm telling you, the mannerisms, kind of some of your body mechanics, and kind of the way you move and the things you do with your face, you remind me of a lot of him when he was first coming on, onto the scene. And it's kind of uncanny. You guys kind of look like a lot.
Okay,
yeah, maybe
I'll take it.
Maybe you can be a stunt man for whoever does it in the movie. I don't know. Hey.
So we're gonna wrap up. Is there any I know, because I almost forgot, because I did forget it last session, and George so gently reminded me to let people know where they can find you. So Mark, where can people find you, information about you, follow you, give them everything?
So I've like my actor/director page. You can go to, I just put it in the chat there, themarketing.com. That you'll find me there. That's also my Instagram handle. You can follow me on Twitter at @themarkrants. I'll drop that all in the chat here for everybody as well. But The Marketing has all the information. It's my Facebook page. I post memes. I just posted, actually, funny enough, I posted a clip from What's Going On yesterday there. So go check that out. Tell me what you think.
Nice.
Huge shout out to my, it's funny, you guys were mentioning wrestling before. I want to give a huge shout out to my buddy Chris Van Vliet. He's in the wrestling community as an interviewer, huge YouTuber, and he's one of the actors in the new movie, and he's really great. He's in the scene that's on the page right now. So if you love Chris, he's a great host, but he's a really talented actor too. Not to belittle Ryan, who's also in the scene. I think he's been in the chat tonight, but Ryan's way less famous than him, so I don't care as much. But follow me on themarketing.com.
All right, how about you, Demetrius?
You can follow us on Submerge Universe on Facebook, Twitter, and also Instagram. And also help support us on the card game Indiegogo Submerge Echo 51, just $10, and you got a 180 card game.
Nice. And Brandon, how about you?
A Brand Apart Pictures on YouTube. You can see my shorts. They have gotten better from the start. So if you want to be impressed, don't watch them in the backwards order. Watch them from the beginning to the end.
Right. Well, that's the beauty of it. Isn't that the goal of every filmmaker, to not be where you were 3 movies ago or 5 movies ago? And that's why I love meeting so many of you at this stage, because people go on to bigger things beyond us, and that's what we want. We're like we're like parents. We're like, oh, we're getting them at a certain stage, and we want to see everything that you do. And it's really cool because you, like you said, I've got all these shorts. Watch my progression. Demetrius, watch your progression.
Yeah.
Mark, watch your progression. Your next films, and that's the best part of the independent arena. You get all these amazing talents, and you get to see them keep going. So that's why I love doing what I do.
Yeah.
Is to be able to see that that growth and what you create next. And like you were saying, Mark, this one was kind of a thriller type thing, and then the next one's more of a comedy. So it's nice to see that, you know, people don't always stay in the same realm either. So
Well, thank you.
all right, well, we're going to wrap up. Thank you all so much for taking the time to do the Q&A.
All right. Can I give a shout out?
I'm sure we'll talk throughout the weekend because we've got 2 more days.
All
Absolutely.
right. I just want to give a shout out to my cast and crew from the whole Submerge series. Thank you so much. You guys are the best.
Awesome. That's gonna let me know. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna do a closer. Hopefully, I'm gonna get it right because I don't remember
we're
how
all
to
judging now.
I know. Hey, I'm just glad the stream worked. I am like technology kryptonite, so anytime that it goes smooth, I'm happy with it. I
All
really
right.
am. I'm just. I'm actually hoping my cohort over here will go push some buttons for me, but let's see. Oh, he's gonna sit here and watch me suffer. This one?
Nice job, Mark.
No, I thought we had a closer.
Yeah, me too.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Are they done? Yeah, but I need the closer. I can't remember. See, I need help. We'll do that one. All right, guys. Thanks.
Thanks.
See ya. Thank
See
you.
ya.
Bye.
Nice.
I think that's it.